Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion and this is the crazy transition of YouTube. This is the lip balm I used earlier and this is Tillamook mint chocolate chip ice cream flavored and scented. Today is September 25th and it is the second video I've done since I did the live saying what the answers were for the scavenger hunt giveaway. I was sick all week but I felt okay. But yeah, I made myself be a bum, so I didn't do any videos. So this is only my second video since that live. So everything you've seen was pre-filmed and pre-scheduled. So you may not have even noticed I was gone. I wasn't even missed because I was still here, because that's what we do. And that's why I pre-film and pre-schedule in case something happens and I don't get to film. At least something's still going up. So on my face right now, we just have on the Fenty primer and the Fenty foundation. I wear shade 335. You saw me put on Tillamook. That's all that we're going to have on our face today. We're going to just skip the intro. This is another 2-month no-buy collab check-in, and we are done, y'all. Our 2-month no-buy started August 1st and is going until the last day of September. Today is September 25th, but it's over. I didn't buy a thing, not one thing. We had 2 exceptions, which was the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale, didn't buy a thing, and the other exception was the Sephora sale, if that popped up. But I didn't see the Rouge sale come up yet. I did see a Friends and Family sale, but I'm like, no, I'll just still wait, because we know there's always another sale coming. So this video is about what we used most during those 2 months, and it's weird for me because my collection is small, so most things do get worked in at some point. And so I really thought about, okay, what do I feel like I use more of? But then even things I did use more of, like there was a reason for it. This is a collab, as you know, if you've been here, with Lock Maiden and Denise. Her channel was Nisi W Beauty, now it's Beauty Over Age. I will tag both of them down below so you can check out their videos for the no buy. And I am going to do another video of what I learned from this 2-month no buy. And the caveat to that is, even aside from a no buy, I am on a perpetual low buy, which means nothing purchased that's not on sale or without a coupon code or a discount code or something. There have been a few exceptions over the years, and I would say 90% of what I buy is with the coupon code, discount, you know, something like that. But a few things do sneak in and I'm like, I want it, I get it, I don't care. But that is in the minority, very much so. And so I am excited to extend the perpetual low buy into a no buy, because just having that connotation of not buying anything, any makeup or skincare for 2 months straight, it's like, who are you to tell me what I can't spend my money on? It is very much a matter of willpower because things come up, and when things are hyped up, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, I need it and I need it now. And then slowing down our gratification, and well, I'll speak for me, slowing down my gratification, I'm like, I know there's going to be a sale. Case in point, the Hourglass palettes, right? Hourglass usually does like a 10% off. And being Rouge at Sephora, not that that's anything to aspire to be, I know I can get 20% off with that. And being Diamond at Ulta, it's nothing to aspire to do. But Ulta has coupon codes and things like that too. And sometimes they do include Prestige. And so I know I can get more than 10% off. And because I'm on a no buy, I'm like, I'll just wait because there'll be another sale. And so a lot of people rushed out and got it, because then they wanted to customize it too on the Hourglass website, and that's the only place you can customize the palette, was on the Hourglass website. And so I think it was yesterday, the 24th of September, I saw on YouTube that Hourglass had a 20% off sale, and people were like, oh, I should have waited, I would have saved money. And I'm like, see, even if you wait for Ulta, Hourglass is at Ulta, you can get a better deal than 10% off. But I'm just saying, it feels good to me when I delay my gratification and then a better sale does come along. And that's the purpose, one of the purposes of delaying gratification is, number one, you know, if it's for you, it'll still be there. You might catch a better sale, you might catch a deal, or whatever. But I'll talk about what I've learned in another video. Keeping in mind it will be an extension of just the perpetual low buy type stuff. So What I pulled out that I used or felt like I used a lot of, I'm just going to go in just whatever kind of order, and I don't know if I'm going to leave stuff out to take pictures or not. I just don't know. But one thing I can say I definitely have used quite often, because I love these. And these are not all of them, but I pulled out these because these are most likely the ones that I did use, is the Sephora collection liquid lipsticks. And so these are this is the black one. I know I've used that. And I pulled these ones out because between like the brownish tones, I know I've used those. This is the dark green, and these tones I know I did use. But these, I just love them to death. Should I do a flat lay of all of this stuff? Yeah, let me just leave it out. Drop them by accident. And I know I've used quite a few times the MAC Retro Matte Liquid Lip Color in Caviar Black, because my favorite lippy is the black. And so I do know I have used that. I feel like I've used it quite a bit. And Nightbird, one of the ones you saw, and the Sephora one is a black as well. And I do recommend the Sephora collection ones and the MAC ones too, but you can get a better deal the Sephora collection when Sephora collection items are 30% off, because that brings those down to like 10 bucks and some change. Yeah, so wait on that. Another thing I've used, I feel like I've used a bit of, is the Haus Labs setting powder. And I'm trying to see what it says, Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder, because this was gifted to me. And so I wanted to really get a good feel for it. I did not like the container that it was in, because it was hard to get it out of the mesh. And so I ripped it open. Well, I didn't rip it open. I stuck some scissors in there. And I had an empty Fashion Fair container, so I put it in here. So that's what I've been using the Haus Labs setting powder from in here. I've been using it from in here. And as I said, I used it quite a bit because I wanted to get a good feel for if I like that powder. Initially, I thought it was making my under eye a little funky, but then as I kept using it, I really started liking it. And so I'm glad that I did keep using it. Also, I've been using, or I feel like I've been using, the Esom Face Structure palette thing a lot, because this is $80. And I feel like this, first of all, I do feel like it structures my face. And I think this gives a nice foundation to other bronzers, blushes, highlighters, you know, whatever else I put on top of it. And because it's so finely milled, it's never cakey. And when I layer stuff on top of it, I think it just adds more dimension to my complexion products. And so I've been really liking this, and I've been using it almost every look before I got sick, because I didn't do looks for an entire week. But this has become a staple. And I made it a point to start using it in almost every look, because it is expensive. And I really do like the powders. They're very smooth. They apply very well. Still pisses me off this is not inclusive, and they say it's universal. This is not universal. I have a whole video about that, so I'm not going to go on a rant on that one in this video. I've also been using, or feel like I have been using, the Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder. And I've been using this in conjunction with, I'm gonna have stuff everywhere. I've been using this with the Hourglass Elephant and Tiger palette, and I feel like I've been using these a lot more. And my purpose in using these more was to show what you can do with them if you're my complexion or lighter, because these are not inclusive either. Tiger was the deepest one, and it's still a stretch unless you're creative with where you place what colors on, if this is going to suit you if you're darker than I am. And this is what Tiger looks like. And it says that this is a finishing powder. I use this for a bronzer. For me, with the Hourglass face palettes, you have to come out, I think you need to, well, let me not say you need to, because you don't have to do anything. I encourage you, if you're considering one of these, or even if you see it in store, just to swatch it and to think outside the box of, how can I use each one of these, and how will each one of these colors suit me? Because like I said, this is a finishing powder. This for me is a bronzer. And so if you just use it as, okay, this says finishing powder, that's not going to work for me. This says, you know, it's a blush, that might not work for me, but it might work for you as a blush light. You know what I mean? And so for me, the Hourglass face palette is about finding which shade works for you and what kind of way so that you can get the most use out of it. And that's how I've been getting the most use out of it. And they cost too much not to get use out of it. These two are finishing powders. This to me is great for under eye. This one is not great for under eye. This one for me is good for, you know, as a finishing powder. This one is not good for finishing powder for me. This is for under eye. And these are the two blushes in here. And I forget, I think this is a highlighter. I don't know what this one is, but I use it for contour. So again, it's just finding what way that they work for you. And so that was my purpose in using these. And I used these, I feel like, quite a bit in the past 2 months, actually, particularly more so in the last month, because the new ones came out. And I know a lot of people were wondering, like, which one should I get? I don't want to get any of them. But yeah, so another thing I feel like I used a lot of, but I'm not really sure if I really did or not, was the Natasha Denona Yucca palette. And I did look through my list of videos that I did in the last 2 months. And I don't remember if this came out since August. But for some reason, I feel like I use it a lot. I don't really know if I did, though. I don't know. I feel like this is strange for me. I know I used Nomad Cosmetics Ghost Town USA palette because this was a new release and the brand did send it to me, and so I did a bunch of looks with this palette, and so I know for sure that I used it, but it was with the purpose of trying to show what you can do with it other than the normal, these two columns do a look, these two columns do a look, these two columns do a look. And then I also did comparisons. I did a look with this one eye, the other eye, Haunted Europe. I did a green look with this palette on one eye, the other eye, what was it, the Yucca palette. And so that was my purpose. And so it wasn't just using this palette just to use it. It was using it with the purpose of showing what you can do with it. And also, if you have Haunted Europe, or if you want a green look and you have Natasha Denona Yucca palette, you know, that's what you can do with that. And yeah, so that was the purpose in that. And I did use, I don't know if it was a lot, but I did use both of my Tom Ford quads. This one is Rose Topaz. I used this one for 2 different looks. I got these from the CCS. And this is the other one, and this is Forbidden Pink, because I just wanted to show Tom Ford and what I thought about it. The ones I had before I didn't like much and I didn't keep, and it was just a color story thing. But these two, like, I really dig it. I have used a few times the Natasha Denona Diamond and Blush palette, and my goal for using this was one of the prizes in my 1K scavenger hunt giveaway, and so I wanted to show how this entire system can be used, and so that was my purpose in using this one. And I'm hearing a theme here that I've used things with a purpose other than just to use it, other than just my regular everyday makeup, even though whatever look I did, that was my makeup for that day. But there was a reason behind, okay, why am I doing this right now? You know what I mean? And so I want to back up to, I already mentioned I have on a Fenty primer, Fenty foundation. I've also used the Milk Hydro Grip primer with the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stand Place Makeup. I wear shade 4N. I only have 3 foundations and 3 primers, and so it was either one of the 3 that you're always going to see. And for some reason, I don't feel like the last 2 months I used a lot of the Pat McGrath. I wear M18 and the Pat McGrath primer, but I'm thinking I did when I was doing some of the pairings with the motherships since August, especially after Sunlit Seduction came out. But I wanted to make sure I got in the foundation and primers. I have been using this quite a bit because the mist on this is so fine. This is the Fenty Beauty What It Do Makeup Refreshing Spray. This mist, and I'm not going to swirl my face in it like I did before, but do you see this? Do you see? And it feels so cooling and like so refreshing that it doesn't almost feel like I'm even spraying anything on my face. this is nice, and the only place I can find it now is on the Sephora website. But I do have another one of these full size, and I think I have 2 of the minis from when they were in BoxyCharm, back when it was BoxyCharm, and so hopefully they'll still be good when I get to them. The mist is just so fine, and I don't know if it's the spray or if it's the mister, because you can always just put another spray in here, but I don't know. I have used a few times the Milk Hydro Grip Set and Refresh Spray. If I put too much of this on, this right here area gets oily, and my chin gets oily. And also, if I put too much on, it feels like it cracks my face once it dries. Whereas the Fenty one, it barely feels like you're even putting anything on. And the only reason I can feel it is because it has a cooling effect to it. But the Fenty one, but I'm gonna keep using this one because I do like it. I just need to not put too much, because then it has a reverse effect and it makes me look shiny, like right here. Another thing I know I did use a few times was the MAC Connecting Color Palettes. This one is the Wi-Fi palette. My first use was for a member request. If you're interested in becoming a member, click to join and see what the perks are. The main perk is you get to request a video, and that will be your video that I do and give you shout outs and all of the accolades and all of that good stuff. So this is the Wi-Fi palette. The only shadow. This one did not show up on me at all. Like this yellow, it was like non-existent. So maybe I need to try it over a black. I don't know. But the other one is Future Flame, and this is the one that has Sunlit Seduction vibes. I really dig this palette, y'all. If you want the high shine, shimmer, wet look, you're going to want the motherships, because the celestial shades are really shiny, all of that stuff. But because I like dark, smoky, you know, messy grunge and all of that, you know, I'm okay without having the high shine, wet look, shimmer look. And so that's why I really actually prefer this one than Sunlit Seduction. Yes, I said it. And MAC shadows to me are just consistent. They've always been consistent, even back in the day, you know, 2008, 2009, when I used them. They're just consistent, and it never lets me down. I am a MAC fan. Some of their collections though, I'm like, but the Connect, and Color, I'm really digging those. The last things I'm going to show you, I have 2 more things to show you. I'm going to need somewhere to put these. Are motherships, and I have 4 here. I have 4 motherships here, but I did use these, and I used these in conjunction with Sunlit Seduction, which I started using like actually right after I purchased it, which was after my month of McGrath. So I was thinking, you know, it's ironic, month of McGrath is over and I'm still doing McGrath. So this is Sunlit Seduction, and if you remember from when I just showed Future Flame has a lot more dimension, and I think it would be a good companion palette to this, just to add more depth to this palette. But I do like Sunlit Seduction, and I think I've made a decision to keep it for now, even just for pairing purposes, because the looks that I've done with it, they were nice, they were easy, but then it's not really my color story. Like, this is what I would do with it unless I amp it up with something else, or at least put a base under it to get it to show up deeper. But then that kind of defeats the purpose of accepting it for what it is, which is what I had to do with, I didn't have to, but that's what I did with Moonlit Seduction. And once I accepted Moonlit Seduction for what it was, that's when I really started liking it. And speaking of which, this is what that looks like. And surprisingly, this is a whole lot messy than Sunlit Seduction. And I've used this, no, I haven't used this more than that, but I'm showing you this one because I paired it with Sunlit Seduction, but that was only just like one additional look. But I really do like Moonlit Seduction, and even though Sunlit gives me more variety than Moonlit, I like Moonlit better because just of the tones of it and the colors of it. I also paired Sunlit with Bronze Seduction, so just like one extra look that we did, and that is what Bronze Seduction looked like. So since we had the 3 seductions, we paired them all to see, you know, are we seduced? And I'm really not. They are nice palettes though, but was it like, ooh, like wow, no. I do enjoy the motherships more so than the mega motherships. To me, the formula is just different, and it's to me, it's the better quality. For me, the Mega Motherships, the mattes are more dry. And wherever it's made, sometimes I do have bad reactions to some of the red tones in the Mega Motherships. And in the Tin Pan Motherships, I never have a problem with any of the shadows as far as irritating my lids. And so this is Midnight Sun, and we paired this twice with Sunlit Seduction, and I really like it. This is one of my favorite Mothership palettes. It didn't sell well, and I think, I don't know why, but it's swamp water, and this is my vibe, so maybe that's why people just want something different. And not that the brand needs any defense at all, but people keep saying, why do they keep coming out with pinkish type palettes? Well, they're going to keep putting out what sells. It's a business. They're going to keep putting out what sells, and you don't have to buy it. And I commented under somebody's video that to me it's silly to buy a palette and then complain that you don't like it. You ain't have to buy it. Like, just don't. And if you get it and you decide you don't like it, send it back or sell it or give it away or something. So it's just, Pat McGrath Labs is very polarizing, and some people say they would never purchase, you know, a Mothership for that price. I don't purchase it for that price. I get them either 30 or 40% off. You know, there's sales, y'all. I'm telling you, there's always a sale. The last thing I'm going to show you, I know I've used a lot of are my gel liners, and I find that I favor those more than my pen liners, such as these. I have a brown and a black one, but I find that I favor the potted liners because they're just so many different colors. And one of my favorites is this red right here. This is from Inglot, but I just love this red. And I know I've used Fortune, which is the green. I know I've used Slate a bit, which is the blue. Contemplative State, which is just like a, if I want just a run-of-the-mill, just something different. But I do prefer the more colorful. If I want to be funky in a good way, then I go with Kultura, which is more punchy than Contemplative State. But, you know, those, I definitely know I've been using these gel liners in almost every look that I've done, because I just like having a non-traditional eyeliner color. I do think it really adds something different to the look. And even, you know, Slate and Fortune, it may not show up deep blue or the deep green, but it does show up other than just a traditional black liner, and I like the effect that it gives. And I think I did use Macro Violet a bit too. This is MAC's Fluid line. And so I just really enjoy using the different color liners. I do want to do more with them. I want to keep experimenting with graphic liner. When I put the red under my brow bone, it was like, it was noticeable, but then it wasn't. It was like, okay, you don't notice it, but then once you notice it, it's like, how did I not notice that? So it was just a nice little twist, and I think that might be something I'll do in future videos, is just put a different color liner, like just run it along under my brow bone, because it was just something different and it was nice. And so that's actually it that I have to show you that I think I've used a lot of in the last 2 months for the no buy. And again, all of this stuff I used was with a purpose, to show you something new, or like when Sunlit came out, wanting to show you something different with that, and then pairing that and the MAC connecting color palettes, because I had purchased these and hadn't used them. Ghost Town, you know, that's self-explanatory because that came out. But I think the other part for this check-in, our final check-in, was what is on our wish list. I do still want the Hourglass Snake palette. I do. And I want it because I know every shade in there will work for me for something. It does have Radiant Light in it, which is this one. And I use this for under eye setting powder and a finishing powder, and this is a finishing powder, it says, but this works for me for under eye and to finish my entire face. I do need to be careful because the sheen is so subtle that when I'm sitting here with the lights on, everything just looks perfect. It's just like, wow. But if I put too much though, I go outside, I look like I'm one of the Cullens. Like there's just like beaming like diamond particles on my face. And so it's kind of tricky. So the key for me is just to go light. And even if I want to keep putting on more and more because it's not showing up, it's showing up. It's showing up. And so, but this is the only repeat in the Snake palette, but I use it. And when I use Elephant and Tiger, I use them in conjunction with each other. And what I foresee is that I will be using Elephant in conjunction with the Snake palette as well, because this gives me under eye powder and it gives me a finishing powder and a contour. And so what it's going to do for me is just give me more options for blush. Not that I need any more blush options, but I really do want the Snake palette. And I tried to tell myself, you know, I don't want it. The blushes do look similar to swatches I've seen from the Tiger palette. But then I'm like, is it going to show up the same on my complexion and my undertone? You know what I'm saying? And so, and I know it's nuanced, because some people say it is similar, but it's different enough. What I think is ironic though is that with other dupe stuff or possible dupes, people say, I'm not going to get that because that looks similar to this or looks similar to that. But then when it's something that they really want to get, they'll say, well, it's different enough, I'm gonna still buy it. You don't have to justify your purposes, and I'm not doing that. So what I'm saying is I still want Snake palette. One, because I love Hourglass powders. I hate that they're not inclusive. So don't mistake what I'm saying. I hate that it's not inclusive. I hate that game that they're playing. And from a marketing standpoint, it doesn't make sense because money is green. You're missing out on money. Like, so that to me just does not make any sense that they don't make a deeper face palette. But for my complexion, it all works for me. And I love the finish of those powders. It is just so smooth. It never looks cakey. Even applying them, it's just, the blushes, the highlighters, everything just blends out. I just love how they feel on my face. I love how they look on my face. And I know that everything in the Snake palette will work on me. If I want to be extra, I can always just layer blushes and all of that, which I tend to not do, which I know a lot of people do. They'll just take the brush and run it across all of them and put them on. I've never done that, like not even once. I don't even think I've ever even layered blushes before. But that's why I want Snake palette, because I love how the powders perform for me. I love that I can use them for different things, just finding which shade will work best for what on my face. And you know, I have gift card for Ulta, and I have a bunch of Ulta points, and so I know I'm not going to come out of pocket unless I just want to for it, which I don't. And so, yeah, I do. And I tried to tell myself, don't get Snake. And I'm just like, yeah, but I do. And it stuck with me. Like, since I first seen it, even after the hype wore off, I kept going back and forth. And then I said, you know what? If I want it, I'm going to just buy it, period. Like, why keep trying to talk myself out of it or make up reasons not to when it's something that I do want to get. Another thing I want to get some more of these palettes. They have one that's, to me, all right, hear me out. How I said this was reminiscent of Sunlit Seduction, which it is. It's the same vibe. Not the same tones, not the same colors, but it's the same vibe. They have one, I forget what it's called, and it looks primarily cool toned. And when I saw it, I thought, that looks a little bit like Subliminal, in that it looks cool toned, but when I wear it, it pulls neutral on my complexion, well, on my lids anyway. And so I was thinking, like, I do think I want to get it. And I was with one of my sisters last Saturday, and we went into an Ulta after we went to go eat dinner, and then we went into an Ulta, and she said something about MAC, and I went, because I'm so off of like, no buy, I'm not shopping, but she wanted to just go in and see, you know, different makeup and just, you know, just browsing around, enjoying, you know, sister quality time type thing. And she said, oh, MAC's out. And I went, oh, they do have MAC here. And when I looked over, there was the MAC display. And I was just like, oh, man. So I saw them in person because I had only seen them online. And I had put some in my box, in my shopping cart. And they have one more that's a 9. Is this 12 pan? This is a 12 pan, ain't it? Yeah, this is a 12 pan. So the one that looked like it might be reminiscent of Subliminal, it's a 12 pan. And I was just like, but if I like Subliminal, I think I'm gonna like that too. And MAC shadows show up true to pan on me, except for that yellow that didn't show up at all. But other than that, like MAC shadows show up true to pan. And so I'm looking at it like, wow. So that one is in my cart. They also have quite a few, something is wrong with this, sorry, I got the plastic in here. They have, I think, 4 6 pans also, and they're all different. There's one that's burgundy, one that's wine colored, one that's bronze, one that's smoky. Y'all, you know what? And online, they look similar to each other. And so I only put certain ones in my cart. But when I saw them in person, and I actually like lined them up on the shelf in Ulta, and my sister was like, these are all so different. And I'm like, I know. I think I want them all. There's only one that I don't want. And I think it was like the wine one or the reddish rose one or something like that. But other than that one, I think I want all of them. But what I'm going to do is the same as with these two. I caught these on a point multiplier. These are $54 a piece. The 6 pan, I believe, are $30 a piece. So point multiplier or a coupon code. They're not limited edition, so I don't feel like I'm in a rush. I will wait, plot it out, get the most for my money. That prestige coupon that they do every once in a while, use that and get maybe 1 or 2, and then wait for point multiplier and stack points with other stuff. But I do definitely want some more of the MAC connecting color, because MAC does not let me down. And even though I have 4 Build Your Own palettes with MAC singles, those shades, and their shades I don't have, that I could see just by looking at it. I didn't look at the names of the shades. But so the only thing on my wish list besides the MAC connecting color palettes, the Hourglass Snake palette, I'm back and forth about the ABH Fall Romance palette, and back and forth because half of the palette has light shades in it, and for me the ABH formula is hit or miss, and so I don't know if I want to deal with it possibly being a miss, even though I can always return it or sell it or something like that. And so my eye is on it, and even watching reviews, like some people are like, okay, this is not it, the formula is not there, and in other videos they're like, the formula is great. And I do believe it's preference and what you're used to, and also what you're willing to work with to get the look that you want out of a palette. And so that's another thing too, is it's just kind of hit or miss. And I haven't purchased from ABH in years. And thinking about my current collection, I think of, will it add anything to my eyeshadow palette collection? And I don't really think that it would, because even the grungy tones in there, I have those in other palettes. And so that's another thing too, is like, do I want to just add another palette? And so that's my thought process with that. It's like, I really don't know. And so right now it's a no. If I see it in store and start swatching it against other stuff that I have, that may change my mind. But as of right now, it's in the back of my mind. And sometimes that's where stuff stays. It'll just be in the back of my mind. And like every couple of weeks, I'll think about it. And after like 3 or 4 months, I'm like, I'm going to just get it because it keeps coming back up in my mind. And that's kind of what it does. Like, I'll forget about it, and then one day I'll be like, oh, that ABH palette, and then it'll go back out of my mind again. And so we'll see. But definitely the snake palette I do still want, because I know it'll work for me, and I love the formula of the powders. And I definitely want some more of the MAC connecting color palettes, because MAC never lets me down except that yellow. And they show up true to pan, and so I know what it looks like is what it's going to look like when I put it on. It is just so consistent. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think, what is this going to look like? Is this going to blend out? Is this going to, you know, whatever. I just know it's going to work. And for me, I want my makeup to be easy. I want it to be fun to play with, and just bust out some looks, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. And so that'll be it for this video. Thank you, Lock and Denise, so much for this 2-month no buy. Y'all, we friggin' did it. We friggin' did it, y'all. 2 months. And I appreciate both of you. For those of you who don't know, I think each of us in the previous check-in videos did talk about how, you know, we have a group chat. And so we talk about the new releases. We talk about what we want. We're encouraging each other. Girl, you know it's going to be another sale. You know it's going to be more than 10% off. It's not limited edition. blah, 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 blah. What do you have that's similar already, so that you don't just buy something and it looks like something else you have that you haven't even used yet, type of thing. And so it's been quite a journey, and I appreciate both of you for this journey. In the beginning, I'm like, we're really doing 2 month no buy? Like, this shit is crazy. But you know, it really wasn't. And the time went by fast. And after, you know, the first few weeks, it was just kind of like, whatever. Because I settled in my mind, I'm not buying nothing. So it's just like, okay, whatever. And then with my allergies and, you know, not being able to use everything on my eyelids, that cuts out a lot of stuff too. And so in a way, I feel like maybe I had it a little bit easier. Because I can't just wear any eyeshadow or things that are promoted as eyeshadow. And so, but in that sense, I feel like it was a little easier. But on the flip side, when something catches my eye and it's a brand that I know I can wear, that's when I'm like, okay, nobody, wait, I can't get it. So it's like a double-edged sword here. Like, okay, I can't use that, not a problem. I can wear that though. Okay, wait, no. And the pre-release stuff, I'm over pre-releases because I don't want to wait 3 months to get something. So that deters me too. Yeah, so thank you, ladies, for this collab. I'm looking forward to Black Friday sales, the November, December sales. I already know, well, I plan to. It may change. I do have a plan to go down to the CCO during Black Friday and see what Tom and Mac and Estee Lauder are saying down there. And yeah, last year I spent a lot around November, December, because the sales were just friggin' amazing. I'm talking like 30 to like 70% off stuff, and I bought a lot of stuff. And that's in line with my perpetual no buy, especially you're talking, you know, 60, 70, 80% off of stuff. And so I'm excited to see what happens this year, and part of me is like, what else can they put out that they haven't already? Because there's really nothing new in makeup anymore. It's just different color combinations within a palette or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And so anyway, that'll be it for this video. Thank you for being here. Do check out Lock Maiden and Beauty Over Age's video and see what they've used most in the last 2 months, and to hear what their closing thoughts are on our 2 month no buy. And I am just really excited for all three of us because we made it. Like, none of us, I don't think any of us purchased anything, even with the 2 exceptions. I don't think any of us purchased anything at all. So even with the exceptions, like, somebody may have been, ooh, Ulta 21 Days of Beauty, I can buy something, let me just find something. Like, we weren't even like looking for stuff. It was just like, whatever. You know what I mean? And that's a good feeling when you get to that point where you don't feel like you have to buy something, because you don't. When you really think about it, you have enough. Trust me, you have enough. And so that'll be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on low buys. Let me know your thoughts on perpetual low buys. Did I say that already? Did I say? I think I said let me know your thoughts on low buys, but I meant to say let me know your thoughts on no buys. And some of you before have been like, nope, not doing a no buy, because then once it's over, you go overboard and buy extra stuff just because you can. Where some people, if they schedule a no buy, they'll purchase a lot of stuff like right before, which defeats the purpose. The purpose is to change your mindset and how you spend your money on makeup and skincare stuff. So, but anyway, I am more prone to a perpetual low buy, because that I can do, because I know there's going to be another sale, there's going to be a coupon code, there's going to be discounts, there's going to be something. But still, just the thought of not buying anything, it's just like, what? Who are you to tell me what to do? And then a sale comes along, and then it's like, oh, I couldn't pass that up. I purchased it. And if it's something limited edition, it is a chance that you take. But then I think about, is it really going to make that much of a difference, you know, in my day-to-day life if I don't have this limited edition palette? Especially when I have something similar. Because once you lock into what your aesthetic is, you have what you want. Trust me, you have what you want. You have the color story. Yes, it's nice having the same color story all in one palette, but if you look at a palette as colors individually, chances are you have the ones that you want. And so, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a future video, what I've learned from this no buy for 2 months long, which I never thought I would do. But yeah, so I'm really going to go. Thank you for being here. Thumbs up the video if you're still here. If you're here from Locke or Denise's channel and this is your first time here, because I do know some of our viewership overlaps. But if this is your first time here, thank you, and I'm glad you're here. Thumbs up the video, browse around, look at my other content. If you like what you see, I would love to have you subscribe. There's a lot of links down below. And as always, self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.